Hello family, this is Ben. I'm trying to record a quick walkthrough video here to get you acquainted with our Slack workspace. Since I'm quick because the first time I tried to do this it wound up being 20 minutes long, and that's not good for anybody. So if this doesn't get into every little thing, let me know and I'll be happy to do a Zoom call or something like that with people to answer questions and get you more up to speed. But this is Slack. It's a messaging app, and the reason that we decided to use this and how it gets used can be a work in progress. But as the executive committee started to look at some of the questions that were brought up in the handbook document, we kept coming back to the need for a central messaging place, a place that we can post important information and get quick answers from everybody and share messages back and forth. The kind of thing that sometimes winds up happening on Divine Family Circus, although the consensus was we kind of wanted to leave that there and find something that was better suited for that. So that's what we're trying to do with Slack. You can download this. I'm showing you the desktop version of Slack, but you can download it either for your desktop computer or for your phone. The mobile app is very good, and I use both. I use it on my phone and I use it on the desktop. So click the link that you got in your email, set up your account, and join our Arequipa workspace. You can see up in the top left, I have a couple different workspaces here because I use this for work and for my film and music group as well. But you should probably just have Arequipa unless you're already using Slack for something else. So you have two important sections, the channels and the direct messages. One significantly more important than the other. The channels is where we're going to start. So everybody should get dumped into the general channel. This is the default, and this is where most of our conversation will live, is here in the general channel. So I can type messages. Anything I type here in the general channel will be seen by the whole group. If I want to call out something specifically to somebody's attention, I can say something like, hey, and I put the @ sign and it will pull up the list of people, and I say, hey, @Morgan, check this out. So most of our conversation can happen in general. I have two other public channels that are set up. One is official business, and my thinking with this is where what we would use for things that require a vote or things that we want to make sure everybody reacts to, something like share the times that you're available for a meeting, or hey, is it okay with everybody if we get rid of this lamp, or things like that we want an active response from everybody, not just a general conversation. That will happen over here in official business. Docs and links is what my intent with this is, for it to be a channel that nobody actually posts messages in, but I will use this to just post links to the important documents that we have. So you can see I have the calendar. I'll pull up a little browser window. We have the calendar here. We have this year's budget. And these will link right to the documents they'll pull up in your browser window. We have the maintenance record and the opening checklist. I broke that out into two documents since our recent phone call. I thought it was just confusing to have them in one document. So it's two different docs, opening checklist and year-to-year maintenance record. And then we have our meeting minutes, which is one document, a running list that Morgan's been keeping, and she's doing a great job with that. So that's the three channels that we have set up that are public channels. Now on mine, you'll see also I have executive committee and handbook that are locked channels. So those channels only include the executive committee for right now. We can add channels as we need to, but the more channels we have, the more likely it is that conversations are going to get lost and sort of where you can't find them. So we'll use general for almost everything. Now you see in a couple places there are these threaded replies. You can reply to an individual message, and that's sometimes a good thing to use if you have something that happened way back here and I want to say something to make a comment directly to what Megan was saying up here. I might hover over it and say start a thread, and then I can do a reply right to that comment. But I would say use that sparingly, because sometimes the reply threads get hard to find, and sometimes you have unread messages that are actually just reply threads, and sometimes they can be hard to find. If you do find that you've lost something, which can happen as as we use this more and more, the conversations can become quite long. It does have a search function at the top, so whether it's a topic or a person, you can put in something like handbook, and it will pull up all the posts about the handbook in here, and you can search through there. So that's a nice handy thing if you can't find something, or if you're wondering if something has already come up, if we've already talked about something. That's a pretty good feature to go back and use, that search function. So just a couple more things I want to show you on here. First, one is direct messages. So down here under direct messages, you can have a direct line of communication, sort of a private conversation with anybody in our group. And you create those yourselves. You click start a direct message, you can pull up the person, our whole list of members will be in here, and you can start a direct conversation with one person or with a group of people. If you want to sort of start a side conversation with somebody about something, you can do that here. Essentially, this is no different than, sending that person a text or an email outside of Slack. So you don't feel like you need to use direct messages. It's not how we're going to use Slack as a group. But if you just want to have all your Arequipa conversation in one place within this Slack app, go for it. I'll respond to direct messages if you send them to me. I think everybody else will too. The last thing I want to show you here is in the preferences. So I'm going to go off screen and just go to the menu bar and pull up preferences. And I get this menu here. Two things I want to point out. One is your notifications. So notifications just show up generally in the desktop app. You might get a little thing that pops up on your screen. On your phone app, it's generally just going to be those little red icon badges that pop up and say you have something new. So you can tell it whether you want to give you new message notifications for anything that anybody posts. That's how I have it set. Or you can say just direct messages, mentions, and keywords. And what that's going to do is it's only going to give you a notification if somebody does that at mention and calls you out specifically, then you'll get a message. So depending on how much you want to get bothered by the little red icon badge, you can set that accordingly. The other thing I want to show you is over here on sidebar. There is a little checkbox here that says show all unreads, and it's not on by default, but if you put it on, you see if I turn it off and on, it shows up over here. This is pretty convenient to have on because if you can't find something, particularly if something is buried in a message thread, sometimes your app will be telling you you have a unread message and you can't find it. So it's nice to have that turned on because I can just go up to all unreads. At this point I've seen all the messages that are here, so nothing's showing up for me. But if I make this unread and then I go up to my all unreads, see, it's going to show me just these ones that I haven't seen. So nice little feature, helps you kind of keep things organized and keep from missing anything. But anyway, that's Slack. Like I said, if anybody wants a little bit deeper dive, has specific questions, you can message me on here, which would be great. We can answer questions right on Slack. Or if there's a need for it, we can set up a Zoom call. I can screen share and I can kind of walk you through things if it's maybe more complicated than what I can just quickly answer. So thanks for trying this, everybody. Like I said, how this gets used, how we implement this into our business can be a work in progress, but I really think it's going to be a good tool for us. The executive committee has been using it for a little while and we really like it. So give it a shot. Thanks.